Hi, I'm Bianca Hartge-Hazelman, CEO of Financy, and welcome to Impactor, to your Getting Started session. So you're going to need a few things here: information on your organizational diversity composition, a little bit of financial information as well, in terms of your EBIT and gender pay gap figures, so those average salaries across certain like-for-like roles. But we'll walk you through it and you'll get a good sense to get yourself ready for Impactor. So let's start by sharing the screen and signing in. You'll need to head to impactor.financy.com.au/sign in. Now, another little tip here, just to check with your organization for the emails that are allowed to come through, you need a no reply at financy.com.au. You need that on your permissions. And the reason for that is that's where your verification email is going to come through. So rather than stand around waiting for it to happen, if you have a really snazzy firewall, you might just want to make sure that that is absolutely allowed. And with any of this information, we'll put it on our FAQs and support page for subscribers as well. Let's just check I've typed in the right dummy email and signing up. So as I said, that no reply at financy.com.au, you now need to verify your access. Once you have done that, what you need to do is refresh this page. So just heading up to the URL and hitting enter will do that for you. So refreshing this page. If for some reason you don't get your verification, just hit resend. As I said before, check your spam folder in case it's gone there. If you've got a really protective firewall, make sure that you've got that no reply at financy.com.au allowed. So mine has come through, hitting verify, and that'll take you into Impactor. You have a choice once you get to this page, when you're a new user, to create an organization and proceed to payment, or see if your organization's already on the system. And you can do that by just searching, having a look. And if you see it, then you're encouraged to contact your own administrator within the company to be added internally. So expect to see more features revealed on that in the weeks and months ahead. So let's proceed to payment for now. We're going to opt for the DEI module as we walk through this. This is our top tier product. This is where you will be self-assessed on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The inclusion survey involves your employees. Really important validation piece here when it comes to DEI and preventing DEI washing. The D module is a diversity module, and the DE module is diversity plus equity. You can read all about these on our website at financy.com.au. So let's pull our company, test company 88. Put in some mock credit card details for the purposes of this dummy only. And pick a password, pick a postcode rather, and subscribe. There is a bit there to the privacy policy, terms and conditions. I would urge you to have a read, and our privacy collection statements also there. So here is your welcome to Impactor. Excited to have you here. What you need, as I said before, you need to complete the organization profile. You need to complete your assessment. And if you're doing the DEI Impactor, the top tier, you need to send your inclusion survey to your employees. And once 60% of responses come back, your score will be triggered, validating those DE results. Now, what you need and who you might need to involve will differ for every organization, from HR, DI managers, business owners might know all the information. You might need to involve accounts. So we'll walk through some of the questions. But we all start with completing a dashboard where you need to identify your organization here. So we'll just start with an unlisted company for Financy. Select your sector. This is really important, really important, because our benchmarking and ratios are set dependent on industry, so that we can compare your performance to others in your sector, into your broad sector category anyway. This is where you can add in other users to the platform, other administrators, other editors to participate in the assessment. Their roles you can find out about on FAQs and support, have differing permissions. Admin has it all basically. Editor is really about completing the assessment rather than making payments and changing vital information. If you do need to update anything anytime, you can go here. You can also head up to your My Account and go into, once I move this little picture of me, this edit profile box here. But let's get started on the assessment. I won't do the full assessment, but for the purposes of this demo, we'll just run you through what is needed to get started. So financial impact, EBIT, earnings before interest and tax, how much did the company earn in that regard, fill it in for the purposes of this, and how much did you spend on DEI initiatives over the past financial year? So you might have spent on some training, you might have spent on some software like Impactor, you might have spent on some consultants, of which I probably put an extra 0. But we're just dummying this at this point in time. So let's keep it all nil. Diversity across the organisation. We ask about broad forms of diversity, your cultural background. Do you have employees that identify as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, people living with disabilities, over 45 and over, sexual orientation as well. This is sensitive information. If you don't have the answer, you can click "This does not apply to you" if you don't wish to respond, or if you feel someone could be reasonably identified within your organisation. These questions are why we recommend that Impactor is really for organisations with 5 or more employees and at least 1 full-time employee, to prevent people from feeling that their sensitive information might be shared. Some people want to share this information to really contribute to diversity and inclusion in the workforce, but it's always good to get that buy-in if you're completing the DEI Impactor. You don't have to worry about it for diversity or equity or DE so much. Full-time staff identity, part-time, fixed-term contract and casual identity. This is the same. If you don't have fixed-term contract staff or casual staff, you can click does not apply. Then we move to voluntary turnover. So we'll ask about how many female staff, male staff have joined, left the organisation. Then we get into practices and strategies. So you'll need information on what your organisation is doing to affect diversity and inclusion. Leadership is the next lot of survey questions. How many by gender in executive management positions, and then into governing body, around the governing body structure of the company. If it's there at all, you can select yes or no. And then it's important to press publish, because that's what sends all of your information to our dashboard. Moving on to equity. So this is our equity assessment, and this also appears in the DE module. So this is really about equity employment, the structures in place to support those equitable outcomes across opportunities, superannuation, parenting, leave, pay, gender pay gap reporting, education is important, those mentoring programs, different things, and overall gender diversity, as well as belonging. Once you've completed those, again, really important to select and make sure you've selected publish to send that through. So we now move on to the inclusion part of the questionnaire. Overall, if you're doing the top tier product, you're looking at about 170 questions. If you're looking at diversity, it's much, much less. It's a fraction of that actually. And the D and E module, diversity and equity module, is sitting at about 80 questions. When you get to inclusion though, if you are on that top tier product, press invite the link, copy this link, email it to your employees to participate in the survey. And here's a look at the types of questions they may be asked and how they'll receive that information. So they'll have to accept the privacy conditions, and they'll be asked questions about the inclusiveness of your organisation, the initiatives, the pay equity, parenting, employment, education, leadership, belonging, inclusion. how they feel about these things being in place, whether they are seeing these things, aware of them in place, whether they're effective, not effective, the degree to which they are. That's how we ask this information. And then we finish with a little bit of information about the particular person that they can also select this does not apply to me if they do not want to answer in that particular spot. That information then gets sent back to the employer, where at which time you would be checking in regularly to see if you've reached that 60% threshold. And here's where everything will publish. I haven't published my scores. This is just for the demo, but so we're just reading a pending score. You will get a score that will be reflective of a neutral, positive, or effective. You want to see effective, but the most important thing is you need to be on this journey to identify what needs to be improved and to track the effectiveness of initiatives over time, so you can make changes that support your business and really support the business case for change as well. The IDEI score will publish here. Individual breakdown of diversity, equity, and inclusion will be here. Any combined scores will appear up the top. Our top 10 performers we will highlight as we go along, and this is really where you want to be. You want to be shooting the lights out of champion on diversity, equity, inclusion, but that all takes time. It's as someone said to me, it's a marathon, not a sprint. At any time, if you want to go back and edit questions, you can. And at any time, if you want to get into the analysis, the nitty-gritty, the so what factor, I think for Impactor, and where we've got a lot of features that we will roll out, this is where you need to be. So in analysis, review and action, here we are. In the spotlight section, we'll break it down into categories for you. And where you're underperforming, you'll go into the focus and act, and we'll save up some suggested actions that you may take to help progress your score. And there's a few in there that you can skip between. Also, Celebrate and Maintain has a similar approach, but it's all about maintaining that momentum and keeping your performance up there. And actions will also appear in that area as well. For the deep dive section, this is where you can get really into the individual questions and your performance against the average impactor community. And this is really important. If you want to take action, you may want to copy these questions, share them with your employees, share them with the team, set them as a KPI to get action taken on. So that's it for the Impactor. I hope you've enjoyed this little walkthrough and what you need and what you could see and what you will see going forward. And if you have any questions at any time, contact us at impactor@financy.com.au, and we look forward to hearing from you.